Hey guys, this is Ray for Phone Arena. Today you're watching a video comparison between the HTC One X and the Galaxy Nexus, which are two of the very best Android smartphones out there on the market today. Now, this comparison actually makes a lot of sense to us, having in mind that both handsets have the almost exactly the same footprint. They have almost equally big screens, and both of them run on the latest Android version. So we can imagine that a lot of people out there are wondering which one is the better one and which of these two handsets to get. So hopefully we're going to answer all of these questions in this comparison. Both phones are about the same size, and this really shouldn't come as a surprise, having in mind that the HTC One X has a 4.7-inch screen and the Samsung Galaxy Nexus has a 4.65-inch screen. So the difference is really negligible here, and both of these have almost exactly the same dimensions. However, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus is a bit more comfortable to hold in your hand because it's very slightly narrower and doesn't have the sharp side edges that are available with the One X, which is a bit more uncomfortable to hold. Some users might prefer to have the removable back cover and battery of the Galaxy Nexus. However, we don't really see this as too much of a benefit, considering that the HTC One X doesn't have those, but has a very solid build quality and premium feeling materials. It's actually made of polycarbonate, which is a very high quality plastic, and feels much better in the hand compared to the somewhat cheap execution of the Galaxy Nexus. As we said, both handsets have exactly the same displays in terms of size: 4.7 inches for the One X and 4.65 inches for the Galaxy Nexus. There is no really visible difference in terms of screen size. Their resolutions are also the same, 720 pixels by 1280. So great pixel density on both handsets, very easy to read text, and great fine details here. However, they are very different when it comes to their display technologies. On one hand, the HTC One X uses the Super LCD 2 technology, while the Galaxy Nexus has the Super AMOLED screen technology. The difference is, well, the HTC One X actually has a bit more vivider display, and its colors are actually more natural looking, whereas the Galaxy Nexus has a slight bluish tint to its colors, although it does have great contrast levels. But the HTC One X is not too far behind, so overall the One X does sport the better looking and more natural looking display of the two. In the software department, the One X and Galaxy Nexus are actually as similar as they're different, because they do run Ice Cream Sandwich, its latest version. However, their user interfaces are radically different. While the Galaxy Nexus uses the stock Ice Cream Sandwich user interface, the HTC One X has HTC's proprietary Sense user interface, which is highly customizable and actually gives Android a whole new look. Whether you are going to prefer the looks of the Sense UI or the ones of the stock Ice Cream Sandwich software is very subjective, so we're not going to argue which one is the better looking. However, we have to mention that the software found on the Galaxy Nexus is actually a bit more polished and reliable and stable compared to what we have with Sense here on the One X. Both phones run very smoothly. Actually, the One X may have a slight advantage here thanks to its quad-core processor, but as a whole we do experience a bit more crashes and freezing with the One X compared to our experience with the Galaxy Nexus. The keys on the keyboard of the Galaxy Nexus may seem physically smaller, however they're more comfortable to type on compared to those on the HTC One X due to the fact that there is more empty space between those keys, and they manage to contrast their background color in a better way, making them better distinguishable from one another. Whereas on the One X, everything looks so cramped here, and everything kind of blends together, so it's kind of tiring and a bit more difficult to type on this virtual QWERTY keyboard. The browsing experience is actually better on the Samsung Galaxy Nexus. This is due to the fact that the HTC One X often suffers from these nasty delays, taking it about a second or a couple of seconds for it. Check this one, serious slowdown here. It blinks, it takes it a lot of time to render the page again. It unnecessarily snaps or reflows the text. We don't know why it's doing this, but all in all it makes for an unintuitive browsing experience with this phone. On the other hand, the Galaxy Nexus might be a bit more unresponsive compared to the One X. However, it doesn't have these problems with constant delays when changing the zoom and blinkings and reflowing, unnecessary reflowing the text. When I zoom here, I've just zoomed and this is it. No need to wait for any reflows or blinkings or anything like that. So overall, we do prefer the Galaxy Nexus for our browsing needs. In addition, we found that flash performance on the Galaxy Nexus is so much better compared to the one on the One X. I'll show this to you if I can actually zoom here. Just wanted to take a closer look with this animation here. So yeah, check this out. The Galaxy Nexus actually runs a lot more smoother compared to the One X. We think that the camera application of the HTC One X is actually better because it lets us see a camera shutter and video recording button at the same time here on screen. So you don't have to switch modes like in other smartphone, like in the Galaxy Nexus. If you want to change your shooting mode, here if you want to take a picture, you just tap the camera shutter, and if you want to start recording a video, you just tap the video recording button. In addition, the One X features a lot of settings here to let you tweak your images. But overall, when it comes to image quality, we actually found the Galaxy Nexus to be performing somewhat better. It captured more detail and more natural looking colors compared to what we got out of the HTC One X, where the images often have that very annoying purple shade to them. Both handsets record 1080p video and are about equal with their performance. The Galaxy Nexus may be just a bit smoother, while the HTC One X is just a bit more detailed. However, the Galaxy Nexus is capable of capturing the better sound quality. Both the HTC One X and the Samsung Galaxy Nexus are great devices to watch video on. However, we do like the HTC One X a bit more due to its more natural colors and overall better looking display. It also has the louder loudspeaker. When it comes to their phone performance, both handsets are pretty decent. Their earpieces present us with some relatively clear sounding voices, although not too loud, while their microphones perform slightly worse compared to what you hear from their earpieces, but still pretty decent and will get the job done in almost any situations. All in all, both handsets are great smartphones and have incredible capabilities. On one hand, we have the HTC One X with its better materials, construction, and it also has the faster processor and a better looking screen. On the other hand, though, we have the Galaxy Nexus, which isn't too far behind in those categories, but also has the better camera and superior user experience thanks to its more reliable and polished software. So at the end of the day, the winner for us is the Galaxy Nexus because it simply is the handset that is going to cause you less trouble during your daily grind. This was Ray for Phone Arena. If you'd like to learn more about the HTC One X or the Galaxy Nexus, please visit us at phonearena.com.